This gentleman was the inmate founder of the Palo Verde College program. And he is also a highly decorated Vietnam veteran. Please welcome my good friend, James A. White, Jr.
Good afternoon. I'd like you to take a few minutes and think about the future. Not about your future or your communities, but our global community's future. Now, my model today, I'm going to use California, but really it's prevalent globally. And the question is this: why is money, far too much money in many cases, being spent on the temporary housing of people? And then at some arbitrary time, they're released back into our community to continue the same lifestyle, which I might add is what got them incarcerated in the first place. Now, in the year 2000, the California Department of Corrections had 150,000 plus inmates at a cost of almost $40,000 a year and a recidivism rate of over 70%. Now, if you look, if we release 10,000 inmates and 7,000 come back, and now, this year, the cost is $47,000 a year, that's $325 million plus being spent on returning consumers to the correctional system. Now, to me, those numbers are ultra conservative, and I am a conservative. And the reason is this: nobody comes back for a year. They come back for 3, 5, 10, 25 to life for 3 strikers. Now, McGill University in Montreal, Canada, and then subsequently the U.S. Department of Justice did some studies. And what those studies pointed out was that the education of a prisoner while incarcerated had a direct bearing on their propensity of returning to a life of crime when released. And therefore, they became returning consumers of the correctional system. Now, what is the cost of an education? Higher education is expensive. In the year 2000, in California, an AA degree cost about $5,700. But what if? What if instead of one textbook for one student, we used one textbook for 4 or 5 students? And what if all their tutors were their peers who had college educations? And what if all the administrative duties were done by their peers? What if we implement all these what ifs? Well, we could get the price down to around $2,500. And in the year 2000, the California Department of Corrections and Palo Verde College started a project called the Ironwood Project. And they took 53 inmates and moved them over to 53 students. Now, after several semesters, everybody was surprised at the results. So they raised, lifted, pushed people into more enrollments. And we got up to 650 at one time. Now, what materialized out of this was shocking. For one, Palo Verde started offering alcohol, drugs, study treatment courses, mouthful there. And many of the students had abuse problems, so they enrolled to take the courses to better themselves. But after taking 10 or 12 courses, they found out they were eligible to take a state licensing exam. And they could become certified alcohol drug treatment specialists. So now they weren't only helping themselves or their peers here, but when they return to our community, they're going to be helping our community. Now, another thing happened. Many of our students were released. They went home. And guess what happened? They continued their education. See, I'm old. Education's addictive. You get a little bit, you want more. So we have students that either have received or are working on degrees, bachelor degrees, in subjects like biology, business administration, civil engineering, Physics. We even had one student get an MBA. Now the question is this a good program? Is it cost effective? And the California Department of Corrections deals with money. That's what it's about. So is it cost effective? So here are the results after they compiled all the data. Of the first 53 students that enrolled, 52 graduated, 1/3 with honors. We have had numerous summa cum laude graduates. Sitting in this room today are students with a 4.0 GPA. We've had 1,288 graduates, and in 6 weeks, we got 103 more. Now, if you look at the Department of Justice studies, 20% should return. So how many have returned? As of July 2013, 1.526% have returned to prison. Now you got to understand, all this was from one seed, one little idea. Let's try it. One seed. Now I'm going to tell you that all these students are very thankful. They're very thankful for the opportunity, not only to get an education beyond their thoughts that they ever would have, but because they're allowed to change their lives with a little bit of help and become better citizens. Now, what's all this mean to you? 95% of those incarcerated in California are going to return to your communities. Actually, they're our communities. 6.6% of all Californians have either been in or are in prison, on parole, or on probation. 6.6%. That's a mighty small number. It's only 1 in 15. It's an amazing number. So, what has my talk about been today? Well, it's easy. It's about planting seeds, going around planting seeds. So, everybody here, I'm old. Everybody here knows this is an apple. And everybody in this room, every one of you, can count the seeds in an apple. But none of you, not in this room, not today, none of you, when you go back to your community, nobody in the global community can count the apples in this seed. So what I want you to think is that there was a seed planted here in the desert. And with a little bit of water, a little bit of nurturing, it grew into a small, flourishing orchard. But we are in the desert in California, there's a drought going on. So we need a little bit more water. We need a little bit more nourishing. And maybe we can have a bachelor's degree program here. So what I want all of you to do for me, the old man on the stage, is tomorrow, when you leave your home, go out and plant a seed. Plant a seed. And imagine the infinite possibilities.